Welcome to episode 29, week 3 of Fire Sale franchise. We're 2-0, we've got a home game in the division against the Buccaneers who are 0-2. But before we get into that, we've got a couple of things to sort down here. We've got more trade offers for Logan Tammy, and I don't want to trade him away. I said that already last week. I know I probably won't use him, but you don't plan to use your backup until you have to use your backup. And then in that situation, I'd be pretty annoyed that I traded away Logan Tammy for a draft pick we may never end up using. What we actually have to take care of are these player contract negotiations. One of them is Morstead. So our two guys here are Thomas Morstead and Trey Flowers. Now Trey Flowers we're definitely going to re-sign. Thomas Morstead maybe not so much. Actually, he's been good to us. We kept him around. We allowed him to stay. So we're going to renegotiate his contract. If you'll take that, we'll give him it. Look at the cap room we've got. I don't know what the length is good, but that's it. All right, shut up. Anyway, we've got $105 million of cap room, which is insane. Still, okay, it's 101 now. I don't get it. So did he complain about it or did he take it? We've got less cap room now. Who knows? But 101 million, which is still a filthy amount, even with all the players we brought in this year. Financial side. Who is my advisor here who keeps giving me these terrible suggestions? Well, that was a complete waste of time. We signed nobody. So now we all have left to do is, well, take a look at who the Buccaneers have got on their roster, play the game, and then scout players. That sounds easy, there's a whole game in between. So the Buccaneers receivers aren't really very good at all. Willie Snead and Jamison Crowder, they're two best. Now Crowder did cause problems for us last year. Snead a little bit as well. I think Snead we traded to them. Maybe we cut him and they picked him up. I don't remember exactly what happened there. So at middle linebacker they have Taj Hodges, a middle linebacker from last year. He's pretty good at an 81 overall. And they have a second year player called Damian McCord, 78 overall at cornerback, not bad either. I've got to be honest though, that Buccaneers team doesn't scare me. There's nothing too impressive there. I think our cornerbacks are good enough to take care of the receivers. I think our receivers are good enough to beat their corners. They do have some good veterans still around, as in most of the players that you know on their team now, the big names are still there. They've got a few guys with 90 overall, so it's not going to be easy, but they don't intimidate me. So we start with 1st and 10 on the 31. Jameis Winston, play action pass, manages to find a guy downfield, completes the pass to his tight end, and he gets out of bounds there, so we allowed him to get a pretty good pass there. And then 3rd and 1, another completion, a missed tackle there by Derek Milner. He was the same guy who didn't fully tackle the tight end. That's two kind of missed plays by him, and that's a 40-yard touchdown to start the game for the Buccaneers. But now sitting looking around for a pass, just a little dump off to DJ Foster, and he gets spun around in the air there, takes a big hit. And then on 3rd and 1, we run with Keith Marshall, and he gets tackled behind the line, and we have to kick the ball away. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are up by 7, and we've given them the ball back. Now Jameis Winston stood back with plenty of time, throws one up. Derek Milner there kind of playing the ball, although Snead had the advantage over him. And then play action pass again, and this time Sherrills gets to him. The rookie outside linebacker, he didn't get a sack, but he broke the pass up. Now we get the ball back, they kicked a field goal, and Keith Marshall here, nice little juke there on that defender, runs upfield. He goes to stiff arm this guy because he figured he couldn't beat him for speed. Gets tackled there, but that was a real nice rush from Keith Marshall. And then on 3rd and 4, sitting a completion to Sugars, who gets the first down by a couple of inches, and then drops back to pass on 1st and 10, throws one out there to Sugars again, and Sugars can just take it into the end zone easily. Gets tripped up there at the end by Conte, but Sitton and Sugars forming quite the rookie pairing there. And now it's 10-7, they run the ball, and we just smother Doug Martin there. They're not having too much luck on the ground as of yet, and they go for a play action pass there, but Dion Jordan so quick off his block, he just gets to Jameis Winston, sacks him there. 1 sack, 1 tackle for him on the game, but they move it downfield. Doug Martin again, tackle behind the line. We're good against the run. They've been killing us a little bit with the pass, and Sherrills again, just like his first play, doesn't get the sack but breaks up the pass, and we force this field goal attempt. So they go 13-7, 5 minutes left in the second half. 2nd and 5 here. Sitton's got all day to find Michael Mitchell, which he does in a whole bunch of space. So Mitchell takes it up inside the 40-yard line, inside the 35-yard line to the 33. And then 1st and 10 on the 33. A little swing pass to Keith Marshall. We don't see that too often, but he picks up a solid 9 yards there. And that sets up this play action on 2nd and 1. Sitton rolls out to the right, sees Tajay Sharp open downfield, lofts it up there. Tajay Sharp manages to stay inbounds and get into the end zone. That was quite the touchdown. Had to walk the tightrope there at the end a little bit, but he gets in. That was a great connection between Sitton and Tajay Sharp, and they tried to set up a screen here, but Jameis Winston gets sacked. The ball was fumbled. None of our defenders were able to get there quick enough, but still a very nice play there by David Onyemata, who's been making plays all season long so far. So 3rd and 23, Jameis Winston able to stand there for a long time, throws it upfield. Derek Milner can make a play on the ball and doesn't catch it. At least, obviously, the Buccaneers didn't get that completion, but Milner didn't make the interception there. He's not had the best day today. And then Sitton finds some green there in front of him, runs through it, picks up a couple of yards with his legs. We take the timeout. We're trying to get a field goal before time runs out. 25 seconds left. Keith Marshall there, middle of the field. Take another timeout. We've got a chance to take a shot downfield here, but Sitton sees nobody open, rolls out right, looking for something. Obviously, the X was there, but he decides to run with it, gets pushed out of bounds with 1 second left. So now we're in the second half. 1st and 10 on the 29-yard line. Play action there. Sitton rolls out to the right, launches one there, and that's just nowhere near anybody. That's one of the first times he's thrown a ball just completely wildly, but it was completely harmless at least. And then on 2nd and 10, a nice little screen pass there. I like the little bubble screens when they work like that. And on 2nd and 9, we run the ball there, and that really didn't get anything. But on that play, Keith Marshall got injured. So we have to punt it away now, and it's blocked. Blocked by the Buccaneers. Quan Alexander there picks the ball up. Flacco tries to make a tackle. He was nowhere near him, and he can go into the end zone there. And out of nowhere, the Buccaneers are up 20-17. Who expected that? A blocked punt. We hadn't seen one of those in 2 years. And finally they get one there on us. I say finally as if we'd been waiting for it. We obviously weren't waiting for this to happen, but it did. And Quan Alexander just takes it into the end zone there. So we get the ball back, of course. 1st and 10 on the 25. A throw out there to Sugars. One stiff arm, fights the other tackler off. And the guy he stiff armed in the first place manages to tackle him in the end. And then on 2nd and 6, Sitton looking around, decides to just run for it. Expected a block there from DJ Sharp, who's just making a beeline for the safety. And then Sitton gets tackled there. Obviously didn't slide because he didn't expect to get tackled, and then throws one out to DJ Foster here, who bounces off that tackle, and now he's just got a whole bunch of green in front of him, all sorts of real estate, led in by Brandon Coleman. Apparently did like a little Deshaun Jackson thing there, but I think that was by accident. Didn't quite go into the end zone, and now we're back up again, 24-20. The Buccaneers passing on 1st down, puts it out to the tight end, but Derek Milner not making any more mistakes with the tackles. A solid tackle there. We turn the ball over, 23-24 though, and Sitton again runs for another 1st down and slides. So the Buccaneers did get a field goal there, and they get the ball back there, and we haven't done anything. And now Doug Martin bouncing off a whole bunch of tackles. Jameson Nicholson better catch up to him, and he does, of course, with ease. Never too worried about those as long as Jameson Nicholson is on the field with his incredible speed, but they keep the ball until this happens. A fumble, forced fumble by Dion Jordan. David Onyemata picks it up. David Onyemata's already made a big play today, and he's about to make an even bigger one, taking in the ball for 6 points. Touchdown for our defense. That's another touchdown 2 weeks in a row now, and David Onyemata has had 2 huge plays in this game. So Buccaneers back with the ball, 1st and 15 on our 30, and he finds his tight end there. He's had some luck with the tight end, and he's had even more luck when we miss our tackles. And that was Darren Stanley and Kevin Pierre-Louis missing tackles there. And when that happens, well, I'm not surprised to score a touchdown. Sitton rolling out right, lofts another one to DJ Sharp. Not the first time they've done that today, and it seems to be working pretty well for him. So 2nd and 15, Sitton back to pass, throws it to Morland, who drops it. Not only did he have a 1st down there, almost for sure, it looked like he may have had a touchdown as well, but he dropped the ball, and that was a nice play there by Trey Flowers breaking up that pass. Pretty close to a safety there, and on 3rd and 17, they run the ball. Worth mentioning there's less than 50 seconds left now, and we've got to score points to avoid overtime. Lance Sitton back to pass, finds Brandon Coleman for a huge gain. Brandon Coleman can take it all the way. There's no one near him to touch him. He gets into the end zone, and that should finish the game. There's hardly any time left on the clock. Just a matter of seconds, and Brandon Coleman goes in for the touchdown, makes it 38-31. The Buccaneers have got 18 seconds left, throws one up. It's Hail Mary time from Jameis Winston, launches it up, but D. Milliner, of all players, comes down with it for the interception, and that's the game over. And with that, the defense starts a streak of scoring touchdowns. Now, obviously, it's only 2 games, but it'd be interesting to see if they can make it any more. Lance Sitton had, a perfect day. 276 yards, 80% completion, 4 passing touchdowns, no interceptions. So those 2 interceptions in his first game were just a blemish. Since then, he's thrown none. Rushing, Keith Marshall had a broken thumb. I don't know how long a broken thumb is going to keep a running back out. We kind of went away from the running game after that anyway. Nate Cowan didn't do much, although this is the entire reason I drafted him. This is what I said. I'd like to draft a running back that will be fun to play with if Keith Marshall gets injured, and Nate Cowan is going to be fun. He can move a pile. I'll show you some of his stats. And then Lance Sitton, he can really move about. Picked up a couple of 1st downs with his legs today, threw a bunch of touchdowns. What more do you want? And then a whole bunch of different guys getting a whole bunch of catches. DJ Foster with a huge touchdown. Blake Mullen with a huge drop. I think he would have had a touchdown had he caught that pass. And everybody else had a bunch of stuff as well, and Chance Sugars continues just to dominate people with speed and size. This week our left guard didn't allow any sacks, so I'm starting to not worry about that, although I wasn't worried, but clearly it's not a problem. And for a 3rd week in a row, and I think he's going to have a serious total by the time we're done, Christian Stuckey the rookie, leads the team in tackles. Kevin Pierre-Louis leads for tackles for a loss. Again, it's just the same every week. Those two guys are an incredible pairing. Dion Jordan, 2.5 sacks. He's really on a warpath. David Onyemata is turning out to be, I can only assume, one of the best defensive tackles in the league. In Pierre-Louis and Jamarcus Vance, our rookie defensive tackle as well, half a sack as well there. But David Onyemata, forced fumble that was taken back for a touchdown last week, 1.5 sacks this week with a touchdown as well. And a forced fumble himself. Dion Jordan forced a fumble that David Onyemata took back 45 yards for a touchdown, but David Onyemata is just making plays non-stop. So it is going to be a longer term injury for Keith Marshall. Let's see the bad news. 4 weeks, that's a long time. That's really annoying, but like I said, it's the entire reason we drafted another running back. And let's take a look at Nate Cowan's stats. So speed, it's not great. 86 obviously isn't good, but it isn't actually that bad. DJ Foster, who is an asset in the passing game, only has 88 speed, but obviously his acceleration is really low as well, but that's not why he's here. Again, it's pretty good agility for the kind of player he is. 83 carrying is good, not amazing. Keith Marshall has 92 carrying, but look at his trucking. 90 trucking, 88 stiff arm. This is insane. 90 trucking, 88 stiff arm. Of course, his spin and juke moves aren't that good, but you don't even need any of these others. He's got 90 trucking and an 88 stiff arm. This guy, that's why he just moves through piles like they're nothing. The guy's a beast. Now let's scout some players, and deciding what our team needs at is going to be really hard. I'm thinking cornerback, making cornerback a priority, just because that's a fun position to always draft. I think strong safety still could be one. Obviously, Derek Milner is good, but finding a stud there could be pretty fun. The linebacking positions truly are sorted. Left end, right end, we can always technically use another one. Considering we haven't drafted a wide receiver in 2 years, I think it's about time we look at one just to be safe. So I'm going to start with cornerbacks. So we'll do cornerbacks first and then move on once we've had a good look at them. B- man coverage. Okay, so he's good. B- zone coverage, he's alright, so they saved themselves. These guys are all going to be not that good probably, but at least we've got 2 guys there to look at. So let's take a quick look at the player of the weeks, because I've just seen that we're in there. So Lance Sitton, offensive player of the week. Obviously we know the stats, we saw them the week before. Our defender was there. We are showing to be a good team this year. So we've got more contracts to negotiate. Everybody wants more money, what a surprise. Brandon Coleman will give you all of the money you want and some more. I'd like to take in a better salary than what you're offering. Of course you'd like to. Everyone would like more money. Who's going to say no? Please give me less money. We're going to give Trey Flowers a big bonus, making his cap hit $4 million. Is he going to take it? I would like to play for a new team next year. I don't really know what you want me to do now for the next 13 weeks. Quite the bombshell to drop on us, Trey. Who is my financial advisor? We've had a staffing change, because before everybody accepted these. Now everybody wants more money. You don't even have any sacks this season, and you're talking about going to a different team. We are the best defense in the NFL. We don't need rude guys like you. Okay, that's all slightly over-exaggerating, but if someone offers us something decent for you on the trade block, you're on there, son, and you've done this to yourself.
I can't believe you've done this.
To yourself. I feel like I'm slightly overreacting, but you know, what's life without a bit of drama? So now we're going to have another divisional game hosting the Panthers with heavy hearts, because Trey Flowers is just letting the entire team down. This is a team effort. We're a bunch of guys here who are doing all of this for chump change. There's hardly a soul here making any money worth talking about, and this guy wants to go play somewhere else. Dion Jordan's hot as anything again. He's got a bunch of sacks. Trey Flowers, you've got nothing. Joshua Vance probably has more sacks than you. So the Panthers only have Cameron Artis-Payne at running back, so that's not that impressive. They've got a second-year left tackle, Brandon Loud, a second-year right tackle, Jason Hutton. Their cornerbacks aren't too bad, 81, 76, 74. It's not a bad team whatsoever. They're guys like Cam Newton, Luke Kuechly have some crazy high overalls. They are 1-2, but this could be a pretty tough game, especially like I said. I've got a heavy heart. One of our original players has said he wants to play for a new team next season. And now I feel bad for putting him on the trade block. Let's see. We'll play this game and see if I can calm down any. So first play of the game, they go for a play action pass here. Kevin Pierre-Louis did bite on the play action, but he had enough time to then get Cam Newton, puts him on the ground for a sack, and then they are on 3rd and 17 on their first drive. Cam Newton has time to look around. Not enough time though, gets sacked by Dion Jordan, who's just been on an incredible streak so far this season. And now it's our turn. Lance sitting, looking around, sees nothing, decides to go and run for it. Gets the first down, then slides. He seems to be doing more of that every week, just running for those first downs. And now on 2nd and 12, puts one out there. And I say put one out there, puts it out of bounds. Nobody near that ball. He's been throwing a couple of those in the past 2 games as well. But then Derek Milner there had a bit of a sketchy week last week with the missed tackles. That certainly wasn't a missed tackle. And now on 2nd and 7, Cam Newton looks around. Dion Jordan, forced fumble. That's about a 2nd week in a row, maybe even a 3rd week in a row with a forced fumble from Dion Jordan. And on 3rd and 10, he's looking around, throws one up. There was a chance for an interception there. Very good defensive play by Jameson Nicholson to break up the pass. And now we've got the ball, 3rd and 8. Throws it there. Had to throw it slightly behind Sugars to keep it away from the linebacker, but it ends up being an incompletion. But we just swap possessions again, 0-0. Now sitting rolling out to the right. Probably should have passed it there to Tajay Sharp. That's a connection that really worked last week, but he goes for it himself. He gets the first down at least, and now we run with Nate Cowan there. And look at that. He's just weaving through the defense. He runs really patiently there because he knows he can just power through everyone. And then he throws one out to DJ Foster there, who gets the first down, but gets thrown down as well. Now on 3rd and 2, running with Nate Cowan. Got a whole bunch of room in front of him, and he just dives headfirst into contact. You gotta love Nate Cowan. And then Sitton just didn't have enough time there. Kawan Short, that's his 2nd sack of the day on him. And then on 3rd and 12, Sitton's got to find someone, and he finds Brandon Coleman, who gets upended, but he makes the completion, makes the catch rather, and for the first down. And then Cowan for another first down on 3rd and 3, powers in. And then we actually had to settle for a field goal here on the 2-yard line. So we drove all the way down the field, but had to settle for 3 points. And on 2nd and 10, a run there by Artis Payne down the middle, and nobody gets him. Jameson Nicholson was blocked, so he's going to have a tough time catching him. Can he catch him, though? Nicholson is going to get there just in time to tackle him on the 1-yard line. Jameson Nicholson is incredible. And now it's time for our defense to make a stand, and they do it on first down there, taking him for a loss to the 4-yard line. And now D. Milner in on the blitz for the sack. No, Cam Newton shakes him off, throws the ball out of bounds. There was a flag there for holding, which we accepted, so it's 2nd and goal on the 14-yard line, but he makes a completion there. Joshua Perry's got to tackle him. Darren Stanley comes in to help, and they drop him there. Actually would have been better off just declining the penalty. And then on 3rd and goal, they go to run for it, but again, he gets swarmed. So we ended the half 3-3 after they kicked a field goal. Cowan to the outside with a huge stiff arm there on that defender. Absolutely massive, and that same defender tackles him about 10 yards later where he pushed him to. And now Sitton looking to run left, gets hit there, but he manages to get out of it. Runs out of that tackle, gets a couple of yards. He's got to stop running so much. He's not quick enough to get away from everyone, but he's got an arm big enough to get it to Malcolm Mitchell, who is quick enough to run away from everyone, and he scores a huge touchdown on 3rd and 14. 69-yard touchdown. That's the first touchdown of the game, and it's the second half. So of course the Panthers, down 7, are going to be looking for some points here. Only down a touchdown, but it's been a very close game so far, and Dion Jordan with a nice tackle for a loss there. But they move down to our 29-yard line. Cam Newton looking to pass, has no time, nobody's open. Our secondary is shutting them down, and they had to go for another field goal here. Cowan back to the outside again, back to breaking more tackles. Luke Kuechly brings him down there, but that's not a bad guy to have your tackle. And Cowan again just running through contact. This guy is incredible, and we go for it on 3rd and 3, and he gets hit and fumbles the ball. Lance Sitton manages to pick it up, but still he fumbles the ball there. 3rd and 3, of course we had to then punt it away, so 6-10 still. Cam Newton had plenty of time, nobody was open, and that gave David Onyemata enough time to beat a double team for the sack. But then 1st and goal on the 5-yard line, Cam Newton manages to get a pass out for the touchdown. So now it's 13-10. We're down for the first time in this game. 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter, but that pass to Brandon Coleman, who manages to stay in bounds and take it to the 46-yard line, is really going to help us get back here. And on 1st and 10, Sitton was looking around, didn't see anybody open, so he takes the chance to run for it, runs for the first down, slides down. Nice play there. He's got 59 rushing yards so far today, and he forces one there to Moritz Böhringer, who comes down with it, takes it inside the 15-yard line, or rather on the 16-yard line. So 3rd and 4 now on the 10. Lance Sitton looks for Malcolm Mitchell, finds him. Malcolm Mitchell gets into the end zone. Then the Saints lead 17-13. 4th and 6. The game comes down to this pretty much if we can stop them. Cam Newton throws one up, but the pass is broken up by who else but Kevin Pierre-Louis, and he seals the deal for us there. And now we just got to run the clock out. 1st and 20, and uh-oh, look out here. He got away with that one. That's getting off lightly when Nate Cowan's involved, and he gets bounced out of bounds there, which obviously doesn't help too much, but this is the final play of the game. It was actually a face mask as well, but that seals the deal. Well, I hope you kept your receipts, because you'll be wanting a refund. That was a slow-moving game. And we went into the half with 3 points each. That certainly wasn't the most exciting thing that's ever happened, but we managed to outlast the Panthers and come out on top. Lance Sitton didn't do too much today, 177 yards, 62 completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, again no interceptions. He's a very clean passer at this point of the season. Nate Cowan grinding out the yards, 3.6 yards per carry average, but 110 yards on the day, 4 broken tackles, 49 yards after contact. Lance Sitton again just picking up first downs with his legs, 59 yards. Receiving today was Malcolm Mitchell's day, although he did have a drop and a pretty important one, but he did have 2 touchdowns, the only 2 touchdowns. Blocking again, no left guard allowing sacks, so there's no problem there anymore. Tackles for the first time. Stuckey not only isn't first, he's really low. There were, for some reason, not very many tackles, which I don't quite understand because there was a bunch of stops. Tackles for loss, at least he's there. Sacks, Dion Jordan has another 2, David Onyemata has another 1, Kevin Pierre-Louis has 1, half and a half there for Jamarcus Vance and Trey Flowers. Dion Jordan with a forced fumble as well, but no touchdowns, which means our streak of granted it was a streak of only 2 games, but our streak of scoring a touchdown in a game ends there. So a player has regressed, and regression has been weird this season. I mean, last season at the start, Keith Marshall kept regressing in injury, at least that made sense. This year, I think DJ Foster regressed 1 week, Tajay Sharp regressed 1 week. I just don't get why they're regressing in injury, and that's pretty brutal. Nate Cowan loses 2 awareness, obviously kind of irrelevant, but 2 awareness for being under 4 yards per carry. Forget the fact he had 110 yards and we were using him as a grinder by design. It's not good enough. He had 3.9 yards per carry or whatever, and they weren't having it. So now to scout players, and I kind of forgot who I was going to look at. Wow, they're the second and third overall rated players. So we don't really have a chance at them. So I'm going to scout players. I'm going to look at defensive ends, considering that one of our guys has decided to leave us. Alright, I'm over that now. But still going to look at defensive ends. I said that before anyway. And a surprise there for Nielsen with C+ power moves. He's a 7th rounder, but the other 2 guys are 1st rounders. Alright, and that's all my points used, and we saw 2 guys that are also 1st rounders. And that is it for this episode. We get a chance to renegotiate some contracts again. We're going to have to start just offering people a lot more money. I think they've been on Sportrack.com and seen what our cap space is and realised that they deserve a bit more. And we didn't get any trade offers for Trey Flowers yet, which is probably for the best, because I probably would have just got rid of him in a fit of anger. And because it's been week 4, I will also be upgrading players, so before we play week 5, I'll upgrade players, but that's all to save for next episode. I hope you enjoyed this one. I think we really have got a crazy good defense here with some really good players, and it's really fun to watch them just dominate any other team.